Welcome to this introduction to contract law. If you're just starting your LLB journey or if you're new to legal concepts, don't worry. This video will walk you through the basics of contract law in a way that's easy to understand. We'll break it down step by step, and by the end, you have a solid grasp of the key principles. Contract law. Essentials of a valid contract. What is a contract? Imagine this. You agree to buy a car from someone. They promise to deliver the car, and you promise to pay them. Sounds like an agreement, right? But not all agreements are contracts. For something to be a contract, the law must recognize it as a legally enforceable agreement. So what makes an agreement a legally enforceable contract? There are 5 key elements, and today, we'll walk through each of them using real-world examples and case law. First up, there's offer and acceptance. Let's say B wants to buy a car. If the A offers to sell it to B for $10,000, that's an offer. When B say, I accept, the offer is accepted, and A and B got created a basic contract. But what happens if the offer is vague or unclear? The law says an offer has to be specific. Take the famous case Carlyle versus Carbolic Smoke Ball Co., 1893. Here, a company promised to pay €100 to anyone who used their product and still got sick. Mrs. Carlyle used the product, caught the flu, and sued. The court said that the company's ad was a valid offer, and Mrs. Carlyle's use of the product was acceptance. So the company has to pay her €100 as promised. Next is consideration. For a contract to be valid, something of value has to be exchanged. This is called consideration, and it can be money, goods, or services. That is, A is selling bike to B in exchange of $200, so A got money and B got bike. So gets the valuable things called consideration. Here's a classic case, Thomas v. Thomas, 1842. The court ruled that a nominal amount like £1 can be valid consideration. So, if you agree to sell your car for £1, that's still a contract. Now, intention to create legal relations. Not every agreement is a contract. For something to be a contract, both parties must intend to create legal relations. Think about a promise to meet a friend for coffee. Sure, it's an agreement, but you don't intend for it to be legally binding. On the other hand, business agreements are presumed to have that intention. For example, in Balfour versus Balfour, 1919, a husband promised to send his wife money while he was abroad. When he stopped sending money, she sued. The court ruled that this was a domestic agreement and not a legally binding contract because there was no intention to create legal relations. Next, capacity enter into contract. To form a valid contract, the parties must have the legal capacity to do so. For example, minors, intoxicated individuals, people with mental incapacity, and banned by any law cannot form enforceable contracts in most situations. Let's see the example. Meet Rahul. He is 17 years old and still in school. One day, he goes to a shop and wants to buy a laptop. The shop owner, Amit, is happy to sell him one for 50,000 rupees. Rahul gives Amit 5,000 rupees as advance and signs a paper. But before the laptop is delivered, Rahul changes his mind. He says, I don't want the laptop anymore. Amit says, you have to buy it. We made a deal. But legally, Rahul is still a minor. He is under 18. And in India, a person must be 18 or older to make a valid contract. That means this contract is not valid from the beginning. Rahul can say no, and Amit cannot force him to buy the laptop. In fact, Rahul can even ask for his 5,000 rupee back. So remember, a contract with a minor is not legal. It's called void ab initio. Finally, the contract's purpose must be legal. You can't make a contract to sell something illegal, like stolen goods or drugs. Here is a case law that is Everett v. Williams, 1725, is a case that involved a contract for a robbery. Obviously, the court ruled that the contract was void because the subject matter was illegal. Take a look at the relevant sections that we have seen till now. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to share, subscribe, and comment.